Hey there, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Daily Fight. Today I want to talk to you about what it's like when you feel like you're starting over, when really you're just starting in a new room or another level. A couple podcasts ago, I pretty much told you that if you're ready to make a change in your life, it's as easy as shutting the door, walking down the hallway, and opening up a new door. I'm going to use my son as an example here. He's 13 years old. He's been doing Taekwondo since he was 9. He's a black belt, and but he is and he's doing awesome. But he is in that weird transitionary stage where he's at that 13, almost 14. Most of the kids are 16 years old and up, or they are 9 years old and under. So he's in that awkward stage of he is too old for the little kids and he's too young for the bigger kids. And as he's leveling up and he competes at these Taekwondo tournaments, we have to lump him in a age group, and he's in the middle. So he finds himself competing against 14 and 15-year-olds and 15 and 16-year-olds. And then also his weight class. He's in that growth spurt, right? So like he is skyrocketed where he's way taller than mama now. But so he's kind of in that middleweight, even though like he's this tall string being of a kid. So they've basically forced him into the next level up. And that's a lot from a paper standpoint. When you get the tag, he gets the little tag and it says his name and everything that he's competing on, and it says his weight class and it says his age class, yet he doesn't really look or fit the part yet of that class. But he's got to go perform. He's got to go compete. He's got to go sit next to these guys and get sized up on the bench. And it's been cool to witness him do this. The first tournament, it wasn't that pretty. It was pretty rough. It was hard hitting for him. But he looked like he held his own. Like he didn't look like he didn't belong. Like when he walked into the arena, when he was sitting there on the bench next to the other kids, like he looked like he belonged there. But on the inside, he didn't feel like it. And I'm pretty sure mentally he wasn't quite yet there either. And I'm sure there's areas in your life where if you're sitting around the boardroom or you're walking into a new church or you're applying for a new job or it's a first new date or you just quit your job and you're starting a business or you've joined a mastermind program and everybody else sounds a lot smarter and looks a lot smarter or has a lot more accolades or more followers or whatever it might be. They've done more things than you have. And you start to compare yourself from the appearances and the way that things look. So the first time that he was forced into this next level where he had hit his ceiling as a 13-year-old, right? And now he's at the floor level with the 15 and the 16-year-olds and the weight class. So he got hit twice, but if he wants to compete, if he wants to get a trophy, if he wants to get an award, if he wants to compete and challenge himself and build his skills and develop himself, he's got to go where he's being forced, where he's being pushed into. And I think that in life, we shy away from this because we're scared of looking silly or not being strong enough or not being big enough, or that we don't have what it takes from the inside out. And the second tournament, they were about 6 weeks, 8 weeks apart. The second tournament, he was pretty much, his attitude switched to, oh my God, they're making me do it with 14 and 15-year-olds to, you know what? I'm probably actually in there with other 13-year-olds that are being forced in it as well. So he started to look at it as the other kids probably feel the same way. The other kids are being forced here too. I'm probably competing with others that are borderline, with others that are being forced to this next level because they're choosing to level themselves up, to develop their skills, to get the next level in the black belt or the competition or to whatever it might be. His attitude changed a little bit just from one experience. So if you can put yourself in the situation and go ahead and like rip the Band-Aid off and put yourself out there, kind of like how I feel with these podcasts and these daily, fight fires, is that they don't all have to be perfect. I don't always have to know. I don't show up with a script. I have ideas, but I don't show up with a script. I like to speak from my heart. I like the Holy Spirit to put on me. I like to share real life stories. And I think oftentimes we're not putting ourselves out there because we're scared. And we don't feel capable yet or competent enough when we know damn well enough that we get equipped along the way, we get competent along the way. And the only way to get more competent, right? And to have more confidence with it is to have the courage to step out and put yourself out there and compete with the best of them in the higher class, at the higher level. So you got to put yourselves in the rooms. You got to put yourselves at the table. Even if you feel like you don't belong, maybe in 6 or 7 weeks, you will. Now, bringing it back to my son, first tournament, we didn't do so hot. He didn't win any awards, which I kind of like because I don't like seeing 2 third place, 3 third place. Everybody wins. Everybody gets a medal. Everybody gets. It doesn't work that way. There's not 10 CEOs, right? There's not like the top 10 number one people out there. Like there's first and second place and third place for a reason. There's levels for a reason. There's degrees for a reason. And in order to earn it, because here's the other thing, there was a high kick, a high kick breaking board, right? Where they run and they jump and they kick as high as they can and they break the board. And he felt like he won it by default because they stopped the competition at the shortest kid. When he missed it by default, my son won because the shortest kid couldn't kick any higher. And he didn't feel like it was fair. He didn't feel like he earned it because he didn't have to do any more. Whereas they should have kept letting my son go until he couldn't go anymore. They should have let him go until he failed. It's like when we're training, right? We train to muscular failure, not every single time, but you train to failure. You train until you mess up and you screw up, so that you learn to do it better, so that you build the stamina, the strength, the power, the endurance, the wherewithal, the confidence, the courage, all of the things. But you've got to be willing to start fresh. You got to be willing to shut the door, go down the hall, and go in a new room, even if you feel inept, even if you feel like this sucks. I'm just going to keep doing it over and over and over again until I get better at it. And that's a daily fight. It's also a daily fight to actually put yourself out there. If you're single and you've got to start dating again, if you're newly divorced, if you're coming back from an injury or an illness and a surgery and you've got to start trying to do things again, if you got to start trying to exercise again, you got to start trying to walk again, you have to start, you have to try again. You have to try with your marriage again. If you have uncomfortable conversations or if you're not exactly happy with where things at, if you mess up with a friend, you got to be willing to compete with who you used to be in order to make yourself better. So I hope that helps somebody today understand that we're all forced into that next level. Or you stay mediocre and average. And you are not here to be average. You are not here to be mediocre. And you are not here. We all graduate from level to level to level to level. Just think of school. We're not here to stay in the same place forever. You're always being trained up, no matter what you're doing. You're always being trained up. So be willing to accept the invitation to train yourself up in light. I hope this helps somebody today. Fight your fight. My name is ROBYN Tanner, and I'll see you next time.